I think we'll. Probably.
Because they're running behind. He has to get to the.
Well, yeah, 5 minutes.
Có bậc cô bác cùng nghe nha.
Mà không có gì làm dạy.
Kính chào quý vị, chúng tôi sẽ đây là giới thiệu với quý vị dân biểu Derik Liên bang Hoa Kỳ đại diện bang Virginia, đồng thời ông là đồng chủ tịch danh dự của Hội Nghị Tự do Tôn giáo Quốc tế hôm nay. Thưa dân biểu Derik, trước hết là chúng tôi xin chúc mừng ông được là dân chủ Liên bang Hoa Kỳ đại diện cho cộng đồng người Việt Nam tại thủ đô Sài Gòn của Hội Nghị Thượng. Câu hỏi đầu tiên rất đơn giản. Tại Hội Nghị Thượng Quốc tế năm nay, ông nhấn mạnh đến điều gì quan trọng nhất?
Yeah, Derik, Derik sang lớp lần này thì Derik dễ thực sự thoải mái. What I want to share, this coming year is the 50-year anniversary since the fall of Saigon, and I think it's very important that we continue, we as in all of America, United States of America, recognize the contributions of the Vietnamese Americans in this country, and that's not to say that we cannot forget about our past and what brought us to this point. The persecution in Vietnam, we have to hold them accountable, continue to make sure that Vietnam respects and is a place where human rights is recognized, right? That's something we don't see enough, whether it's religious freedom or freedom of speech.
Thank you so very much for pushing you for the best and helping you. One more question. In the policy of the country, what can you do for our country now after the war and the war?
Yeah, I think when it comes to my position being the highest recognized American in the United States, it's important to make sure that we hold Vietnam accountable for their atrocities. They're jailing prisoners of conscience over there. What I can do is use my platform to make sure that the mass media understands what's going on over there. Also to pressure the Commerce Department so that Vietnam doesn't get fair training and treatment. That way, once they show that they recognize human rights, we are not going to give them that equal weight in the economy and fair trade. So thank you. With that, I'm going to thank you so much, guys. You're going to work with my office, absolutely. This is something that's very important for me.
Do we know where that is?
It's like 2 minutes. Okay, seconds.
What's this guy?
He made us this.
Oh my gosh, Jake. What's the big news?
Ok.
This one. You can follow us. We'll go together. We'll go together right now.
Just 1 minute for the group picture, like right now.
About 10 seconds.
Okay, okay. It's group picture. Okay, group picture. Okay.
Okay. Look at here. No, em không vô. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
It's here now. So
But you already explained what was. Thank you very much.
For 5 years. Totally in last line.
Anh Thảo bây giờ mình đi vô trong kia hả? Ok.
This is it, yeah. So people are like, but then they're going to
thank you.
Cái gì vậy?
Oh, yeah, well, I've emailed with him, but I haven't met her in person yet. You too. Thank you. Ok, Vietnamese. Chào anh.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to introduce Congressman Derik Tran. He's a Vietnamese American holding the highest office in Congress, representing us. Derik Tran came from a background of refugee, so he understands and empathizes with refugees, especially victims of religious persecution, not only in Vietnam, but also in other countries, other regions of the world. So we now have a voice in Congress. With that, without any further ado, Congressman Tran.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor to join you at this year's International Religious Freedom Summit and to be part of this critical conversation about the state of religious freedom in Vietnam. I want to acknowledge the important work of the IRF co-chairs, Katrina Vantoswet and Sam Brownback, whose leadership in this space has been instrumental in protecting religious freedom worldwide. I understand that I am beginning my first term as a member of Congress at a critical juncture. Our country, indeed our entire world, is at an inflection point. Freedom and democracy are under attack, and it is up to us, the people in this room, to stand up and fight for these values to prevail. As the son of Vietnamese refugees, I am all too familiar with the consequences of a dictatorial regime enacting a cruel agenda on innocent people. The stories of persecution from our friends in Vietnam are both heart-wrenching and inspiring. These are not just abstract issues, but real people, men, women, and children, whose lives are torn apart for daring to worship, to pray, and to believe freely. For decades, the Vietnamese government has employed increasingly oppressive measures to control religious expression. Christian, Buddhist, and other religious groups are subjected to surveillance, harassment, and severe restrictions on their religious practices. As some of you may know, this year marks the 50 years since the fall of Saigon, a moment that forever changed the lives of millions of Vietnamese people. The story of those who fled the country in search of freedom, like my own family, remind us of the ongoing fight for human dignity and religious liberty. As we reflect on the past half-century, we must recognize that the struggle for freedom is not over. It continues for those who still live under the shadow of tyranny. I'm eager to work with the IRF and organizations like Boat People SOS to support meaningful legislation and solutions that will combat religious persecution in countries like Vietnam and ensure that all people can practice their faith freely and without fear. I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you about what my office can do to advance the cause of freedom and human rights across the globe. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful and productive conference. Thank you so much.
So I'd like to welcome everybody to our afternoon session. My name is Sarah Cohen. My name is Derik.
Hi there.
Okay. So, my name is Sarah Cohen, and I'm co-founder of the campaign to abolish torture in Vietnam. Establishing Freedoms in Vietnam, where we will discuss legal strategies to counter Vietnam's repression of religion. Today's session is going to be divided. How about this?
Yes.
Today's session will be divided into two parts. We'll cover the issues first and then discuss the solutions. Let me start by telling you how the IRF summit has already made waves in Vietnam. In the lead up to this week's meetings, the government of Vietnam has banned invited participants from leaving Vietnam. Authorities have summoned, threatened, and interrogated Montagnard church activists. The government has placed other religious freedom defenders under house arrest, and it's tried to beef up its control over internet coverage of this summit in Vietnam. This makes a mockery of Vietnam's membership in the UN Human Rights Committee. It also shows how nervous Vietnam is about what's happening here. Religious freedom defenders are speaking out because Vietnam has silenced those in Vietnam. So we're having an impact already. So I think we should give a round of applause. I'm going to give a quick overview of religious freedom issues in Vietnam before turning over to our panel. Freedom of religion is crucial everywhere, especially in one-party states such as Vietnam. The Communist Party of Vietnam has ruled the country for 5 decades and severely punishes anyone who challenges its monopoly on power. The Vietnamese government systematically suppresses citizens' rights to freedom of religion, along with other basic civil and political rights. This means that religious groups are required to get approval from and register with the government and operate under government-controlled religious organizations. Vietnam bans religious activities that it deems contrary to the national interest or public security or national unity, and it imprisons those who violates these provisions on national security charges. So followers of independent religious groups and religious freedom defenders are subject to public criticism, forced renunciation of faith, arrest and detention, interrogation, torture, and imprisonment. So while Protestantism is officially recognized in Vietnam, the government labels its practice, particularly by ethnic minority Hmong and Montagnards, as an American religion linked to plots by hostile foreign forces to undermine and ultimately overthrow the communist regime. And so that's the reason why Montagnards and Hmong make up a disproportionate number of Vietnam's religious prisoners of conscience. So I'd like to introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker is Pastor Ngo Roan, pastor of Dao Nong Lao Church, which is a Montagnard church that has members in North Carolina, Thailand, and Vietnam. Juan Roan will be translating.
Hello everybody, my name is Nuralan. Tôi đi theo khoa cùng đó, bằng sang cái đảo cùng lâu, bằng quần sân chơi, là hình bằng quần pro Việt Nam, Thái Lan, là hình như chỉ nhớ có bà la về cái bằng, có chỉ khoa cùng đó, bà la về cái bằng sang cái đấy, nó bằng nó cái là doa có sang cái đấy.